Welcome back, everybody.
Oh
Hot
yeah,
and Dirty
baby.
with Nana, part two.
Dirty talk. Mm.
Sorry, episode two. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for listening in to the second podcast here. We have our first ever on the podcast, uh, our first guest. And who else should we have besides the commissioner for the first guest?
Maddie, daddy, batty, boy.
In the flesh, kind of.
Kinda, yeah. Virtual world here.
Welcome,
Yeah,
Matt. Welcome.
thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to be on. Just
So
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, reason you're on here, man. You've been in the news cycle lately, and I thought after episode one that you took it to heart to get better because Maddie Daddy is not average at best. He likes being at the top. And I think the moves that you've made, you've rebuilt pretty quick from last year where you ended with the third worst record. Um, I see you as one of the definite, honestly, top three, top four for sure now. And I think the trade went well, man. What do you think about it?
Yeah, thank you. I liked it. I'm still not where I want to be. I'm still,
And
open to making more deals, but I do like the deals I've done so far.
so, can you guys see my screen here?
Yeah.
This is the trade right here. It was a nice little doozy here with you getting Mike Evans and a first round pick from Jorge. How? How do you get both?
Hey, I gave up a lot. I don't think those players are no joke that I gave up. Um, I got Kareem Hunt out of that too. I think that's not just a throw in. I was targeting him. Had to give up Thomas, so I held on to him for a long time. Last 2 years he's just been killing me. I had to get rid of him.
A
I
little
like
dead
Kirk.
weight there.
Yeah, too long of a wait. I just got to move on. I gotta get. I want to go. I figure if I'm gonna move him, I'll get a younger receiver with the first round pick. I have my guy. That's the reason I moved for that to that 107 is there's one or two players I'm targeting that are going around there. So, that was the goal in that trade. Mostly I also want to get better at wide receiver. He's got a vet in Mike Evans, still produces. So,
Very
um,
consistent player, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think like overall from, just a balancing perspective of the trade, I think both of you guys pretty much got what you were looking for, I would say. I think Jorge was obviously looking to get Josh Jacobs, I think was just looking at the trade here. And Michael Thomas is a little, puts me a little bit on at the unease here, but I still think it's, maybe a risky pick and a risky trade on the Jorge side, but it's definitely a high risk, high reward situation. And then for you, I think it's more, I would say you have the safer side of the trade if I looking at it here with Mike Evans, Kareem Hunt, and obviously Picos, '07 this year.
Yeah.
So
Like I think Matt could afford to lose Josh Jacobs, and to get back Kareem Hunt was still solid. And I don't know about Christian Kirk. It's unproven, but he just signed that big deal. We'll see if it works out with Trevor Lawrence.
didn't like the Josh Jacobs Kenyon Drake combo, huh, Matt?
I liked it. I don't just move players that I don't think they're gonna be good. Like I definitely think there's a lot of value in that team. They're gonna run the ball a lot under the new offensive coordinator or the new
Yeah.
head coach.
I mean,
Um,
that offense is going through a lot of changes too. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
you know, with Devontae Adams being there, the whole passing game is going to be a lot more interesting to watch, and hopefully the run game, gets better because of it too. So
yeah.
Yes,
hopefully it works out for both of you guys. The first trade here,
there you
but
go. And you weren't done, Matt. You weren't done. You wanted to improve your team here, and let's talk about this right here with you getting rid of D Hop
Yeah.
and quickly trading for Darren Waller with these two deals, huh? You've been active, my friend.
Yeah, I told people I was moving players. The players, I've been moving the ones I've been saying I was gonna move. So, you know, I'm not. I'm giving up a lot too. Had to give up a first in that Waller trade. I'll probably have to trade for a first next year. So, hopefully the younger players that I have on my bench and roster, like hopefully that some of those guys hit, I can trade back into the first.
So you
Yeah.
currently don't have a first next year?
No, not currently.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
I'd love to have a first, but I also really want win now type of tight end. Darren Waller is definitely that, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
I still
Yeah, I
have
think
Dawson Knox.
just looking at that trade, specifically the Dylan trade there, I really like it from your perspective as far as just acquiring. I know obviously losing the first is a blow, but you don't really come across too many top 5 tight ends, like getting the chance to have one on your team. So the fact that, you're able to just give away, a first and a third and, get a fourth back and Waller, I think that's definitely good value for especially a sleeper league.
Yeah.
I know
definitely.
Dylan's very keen on, the 2023 draft, and it's interesting. And
Gonna
I
be
hope he's
good.
right about it.
I can confirm it will be a great draft.
Yeah, well, it's I mean, that's a good thing to hear. It's no offense to Alex, but kind of like selling a lot of your talent for the future drafts. It's definitely a risky move because all of a sudden you can get those busts and you're trading
Yeah.
away a player like Darren Waller. It's I mean, look at Alex. He traded his
Oh, well,
first
we'll
for the
get to
following
Alex.
year
We'll
for
get to
Sermon.
Alex. We'll get to Alex. Real quick, Matt. I just traded you D Hop not too long ago. You didn't even make it to the season without you not wanting him on his team. Why'd you get rid of him, and how'd you get Steve to bite on him?
Steve reached out to me about him. I wasn't like, I mean, I had my, I think I had my trade block, but he's what, 6-game suspension this year. He's 30, right? Is he 30, 29?
Yeah,
He's getting up there. He's on his back 9, so move up to get another pick in the second. There's still good players. Still good young players I can get there. I don't know.
No.
So that's what I was thinking there. Like I still like D Hop's potential to get points this year, but there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. I think some of the younger guys are going to step up. I think they're going to eat. I think Rondell Moore is going to get more touches. They still have AJ Green, so
Bateman's over there too.
Hollywood is another
Right.
big acquisition. I think that he's going to reap the rewards. Hopefully, he's on my team, so I'm biased,
Yeah.
but I think there's something to say about the college connection, and it's there. With Kyler and him, they played in college together, so I'm hoping we get some Burrow Chase, replica maybe this year of that. That'd be cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously especially with D Hop and Dynasty League, if you can get a good pick for a player that's kind of getting up there in age and, hit the extra action button there and, get out of that situation, it's sometimes can be a safer bet. And I think in this case, I wouldn't really want D Hop. So,
Yep. Agreed. That's why I was happy to let him go. This one right here, boys.
Monster trade.
before we get into the big trade here with Alex and Vinny, just from like a commissioner,
Alex and Vinny. Holy shit, Matt! What? Give me your instant reaction to this mega deal.
I instant reaction is wow. A lot of big pieces being moved. Lots of firsts, obviously. I think both sides made out well. Obviously, Vince gets Gainwell, which he needs. He has Sanders. Gets his handcuff. Gets a couple of future firsts. Gets a second this year, so he's still in the draft. Gets another pick in the second, so gets to stay in this draft. But
I was shocked Alex had to
picks
get rid of that second.
Yeah, but Alex is going to get 3 really good players in the first right away this year, rather than having to wait to rebuild his team, which he needs to rebuild.
Yeah, I think from like just a holistic approach here, like Alex needs players now. Like his team is kind of lacking on depth, and I think this is kind of opening the door for Alex to, do this rebuild right. So obviously giving up 2 firsts, like future firsts for Alex, might be a little risky just because if things don't work out, those picks are going to be worth a lot.
In my eyes, that is the most valuable part of this deal.
Yeah,
those 2 future firsts, those are juicy first round picks.
Yeah, and Vinny knows that, and that's why Vinny made the trade. Vinny wanted specifically Alex's picks, and Alex wants, to get players now. So
Hella
that's
props
where,
to Alex. Literally so much respect for Alex for going in this year. I think this is a draft worthy of players that you could do that for. There's starters all around the board. And yeah, it replenishes like what you were saying, Marty, because he has no depth. And this is definitely with Alex's running back situation. I think he has to go all three picks running back and just absolutely take over the running backs in the draft. And I think that would
he's
be
definitely
so
going to be
funny.
looking at running backs, but I don't
I
know.
think that would be so funny.
It might be tough to get, 3 running backs at what, 4? I mean, 4, he should be able to get one, 8 and 10. Like I feel like there's just gonna be mostly receivers there. So I don't think Alex will really be hurting too bad if he drafts some young talent at receiver too. But knowing
Yeah.
Alex, I feel like I could also see him, continuing the trades, keep him moving here because now he's got some more weapons in the arsenals, to start making more moves. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how Alex does it because you know him, he's a trade fiend.
Yes. And I've been a knocking on Mr. Berrigan's door, but he hasn't taken my milk and cookies yet.
I guess time will tell, and we'll see how he does at the draft there, and see if he moves some of these pieces he just
Yeah.
acquired.
Matt, what do you think Alex's direction is right now with these picks? What's he looking to do? Draft them all or use them
Well,
as trade bait?
I think I've already reached out to him about trades. He doesn't want to trade him. He's 105 he would he get 104, 108, 110. Is that
Yep.
what was it? 104. He's got Hope Ken Walker falls. I think if he's there, he takes him, but I feel like he's not gonna fall. Marty might take him with I think Marty might go to running back, so because he also needs running backs. And if he knowing Alex wants running backs too, Marty might take too early. No.
Yeah.
So he's got some moves to make. Um
Especially
and
with
then,
Marty having that 201 pick. That there's running backs taken early, it only hurts him.
yeah. Yeah. I think if Walker's not there, if London is there, I think he takes London just because he's a Falcon fan. He's a homer. He's gonna go for the hometown
He could be
player.
there, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. If not, then Damian Pierce is getting a lot of hype right now for the Texans. I think he's gonna
He's
be their
getting a
guy.
lot of hype.
Maybe that's who he goes for. Maybe he hopes that he gets Damian Pierce around 8 or 10. You know, I think he has to go for one of those guys that are getting touches now. Like he has to go like someone
He
that's gonna
has
get.
to get the play exactly. Those are the guys
Um,
that need to hit, like the guys that are gonna get the ball.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, we'll keep it moving here just because
yeah,
a lot of the conversation that we can have or we'll have on our next podcast when it comes to just the draft.
yeah.
So the next thing we'll just talk about is we figured we'd touch on the whole Dylan moves here. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it seems like he's really
Let me go back to sharing my screen here.
yeah.
Is
You get a graphic for us?
I don't have a graphic. I just literally want to go straight up to Dylan's team. Um what's he working with here? There's the thing that he's eyeing is next year's draft
Oh, empty
with
spot.
with these first round picks that he's got. Obviously, I know Dylan knows all about the draft. I've talked to him about it. Just because I was trying to see what I can do to trade because he's selling everything here, boys. It's a fucking flea market of a team right here.
Yeah, I think obviously like his team's going to be. I think he's willing to take the victory last year, use this year to kind of rebuild and sell some of the players he might not be so confident in anymore, and really try and get those first round picks for next year. He seems very adamant that that's going to be
I
the year
wonder
to
what
have
the
picks. So.
strategy about not drafting in this year is, though. No one's going to be more active right after the draft than Dylan to fill out this
Oh
team.
yeah, it's gonna be a rat race, and he's gonna be desperate there. He's gonna be adding a
Yeah,
lot of players.
Dylan's going to be all into the waiver wire right after the draft. That I can tell you for a fact.
Yeah, I mean Dylan's team definitely took a giant leap back from trading away Waller and some of the players that he has, but he's probably on the bottom end of the league now as far as just players go.
Yeah,
Just because now he's especially at running back, the depth is going to be
he's
hurting.
tanking for number one, I think.
I'll say this: he I I think everyone has a chance to make a playoffs. I still think this could be a playoff team. He has Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was a top
Jalen
fantasy
Hurts
quarterback
could put
last
a
year.
team on his back. He could.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get a lot there. I'm not too high on his running backs, but he's got good receivers. Thielen, Cooks, Renfro, those guys produce.
They're consistent. I'd give you that.
Ertz
Boyd,
produced
though,
last year. He's got that rook. This was a second year tight end on the Broncos too. I think he might have a good year.
yeah, he picked him up literally the last day of the season after I dropped him because I'm like, I don't think anything will happen. And then there we go, Russell Wilson trade. And
He's got
so,
Hopper, who's interesting too.
yeah,
Yeah, that whole offense is going to
McCaffrey
be
goes down. I think he's a guy. So McCaffrey's been going down lately. So
yeah,
he still gives him some
yeah.
starts.
Yeah, I guess you never know. So,
Yeah.
Thanks for that first round pick, Dylan.
well, we figured with all this trade and all this movement, we'd give one quick conversation to the podcast listeners about just power ranking updates because obviously moves have been made and big moves of pretty high caliber size. So
Yeah. So I'll go first here. I have updated my top 5 teams that I think are going to be really in it to win it this year. And that order right now, I'm really putting Vinny at number 1. I think his team is like real good right now. And if he's trying to trade for a running back right now, and if he gets that running back, I think his team could have a really good year and win it all. So he's my number 1. I put myself at number 2 just because these trades that Vinny has made about his future. I like his future a little bit more than mine with all the picks that he has and just the quality of players. I think that was the difference because I think I have high quality players right now too. And my team should put up some points. I have Matty Daddy jumping up to 3 after his deals because I think he has a win now team. And the person that you jumped ahead was Steve because I'm a big believer in Steve's team. And then Coco is my number 5. Marty, I had you at number 6 to be honest, and you were right there with Coco. The reason I had you just outside that top 5 is because your running back situation is still shaking at me. You're really relying on Saquon and Mitchell, but if one of those guys goes down, I kind of like Coco's roster a little bit better. And I think the difference between Kittle and Kelsey is why I like Coco a little bit more than you.
yeah, I mean, I still think. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have myself ranked too highly until things obviously for me are going to change until once I get my draft over. But and I think that's going to be the same for obviously a lot of teams. But
Yep.
I would agree with you as far as there's definitely some change in power rankings since the trades have been happening. I would agree that I would say Vinny's probably number 2 to Matt being number 1, and then you being number 3 now, just because of the trades obviously Matt made. I already had him ranked at number 2, and Matt kind of improved, tight end situation as well as his receiver situation. So I like the progression that Matt's team's made.
Yep.
And then same with Vinny. I mean, Vinny's receiving core probably is the best in the league now.
He has the number 1 receiving core after these trades that he's done. Yes.
Yeah. Just Vinny's running back situation still scares me a little bit.
Like, and it's not that it's like a scary situation because he has running back depth now.
Yeah.
It's just not home run running back that you can like count on to win you weeks.
Yeah, I could see Vinny like shuffling through different running backs on like a weekly basis instead of like having those guys that you're comfortable starting every week.
Yep.
And then, I mean, your team, Hugo. I mean, not too much change there. I still think your team's still up there. So,
Yep.
for the most part, I'm pretty much agreeing with you when it comes to 4 or 5. Maybe the top 3, very similar, but just small twists in my eyes.
Different order. So still the top 3 teams in your eyes, and then 4 and 5. You can make the argument of those guys being
Yeah. a lot of competitive teams out there, which is what everybody's kind of looking forward to. It seems like most teams have a very good shot of bringing home Nana's glory, and there's going to be a lot of people fighting for it.
Absolutely. Matt, how about your rankings? What's your top 5 look like?
Oof. I'd probably go. I still like Coco's team. I still like. He's definitely top 3 for me. I think you guys sleep on him still a little bit, just
I
because
had him at 4. Or I'm sorry, he was my
I'll say
number
this
5.
too. I'll preface with this. Top 5 teams, they're all very close. I think the best thing I love about this league is our most competitive teams, which there's like 7 or 8, I think at this point, that are, I really have a good chance of at least making playoffs. They're all close. Like, I don't think one team is that much better than another. Like, there's, everyone has talent. So, but yeah, I'd probably say, Coco 1, me 2, Hugo 3, Steve 4, Vince 5.
Okay.
Wow. Matt's got the much different opinion than me
Yeah.
and Hugo, but like I said, I mean, I totally agree with Matt when he says that there's a lot of good teams out there. So in a lot of people's eyes, I'm sure Brian's happy to hear your ranking, Matt, but in a lot of people's eyes, their team could be one of the top teams in the league. So looking forward to it. As far as a commissioner, Matt being the commissioner of the league, what are you most excited for this season? And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. What are you most excited for? And I'm sure everybody's kind of excited about the draft here, but what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, we've obviously looking forward to football in general. Fall coming up, best time of year. Leaves are changing, football starts. Fantasy starts. So that's what I'm here for. It's I don't know. I feel like it's how our friend group stays together, and it's like I don't know, the glue to our friendships. So I'm excited to get started. What I'm most excited about, I think, is the new changes to the league. Originally didn't like the idea of adding a flex, but went through. So I'm excited to see how that affects everything.
I'm very excited. Very excited for the 3rd flex.
So that's it's gonna be a league changer. It's just gonna be, I don't know. It might throw one for a loop. When injuries start happening, you're gonna be starting. I don't know. You don't know who you're gonna be starting the extra flex spot at that point.
Depth matters more than ever right now.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. We're also adding an extra game this year too, for to keep up with the play out the extra game of in real life with that NFL. So
yeah, do we know how we're gonna end week 14? Because there's still buys in week 14 this year. So is that gonna be the end of regular season?
Week
Like
14 is
push
the
it out a
last
week?
regular season game.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing it, because the buys, we don't want teams to be on
a buy in
the
the playoffs
in the week 1 and have like their best player on a buy. Like
Correct.
last year, if I made playoffs last year, Jonathan Taylor would have been out for me week 1. So
Yep.
that's mostly why we're out doing it. I think it makes the most sense. I don't we want playoffs to be everyone to have their best players. So
yep.
That's a regular season problem. So I think that's good. I don't know. It's an extra week of fantasy, So
like it.
And then just excited. A lot of big free agent moves this year too. We're getting big new pickups, new teams, big trades. Lots of receivers getting moved around. So new quarterbacks in new places. Just that's the beauty of the NFL. Every year is so different, and I don't know. I'm just excited to see what this year has in store for us. So
I know me and you were joking about it with Baker Midfield, as I like to call him, coming to the Panthers.
Playfield.
If he lights it up and brings Terrace Marshall from the dead, I'll love him forever.
I don't think that's gonna happen. But
I'm not saying Baker's gonna be a star. He's gonna, but I think he's gonna be better in Carolina. He's in a better place down there. Better. Fuck the Browns. No, I don't mean to curse on the podcast, but the Deshaun Watson situation made me think about less of him, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Baker. Week 1, baby, Browns versus Panthers. That's going to be a must-watch football. If Baker starts, I think he's going to be the starter ultimately. But
I'm gonna be a sucker and take the Panthers spread for them to cover against the Browns on that.
Take the under, but Panthers are winning. It's going to be a close game. Both teams aren't that good, so but it's totally good, especially if Watson's not playing. So, which he's not. No. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. Just big changes this year, so let's get
All
it.
right, one last question for you, Matt, before we end the part one here. As far as I know, this is probably gonna get people on the edge of their seats there, but as far as rule changes go, any sort of rule changes that you can think of that you would want to come into play for the following year?
Wow, already
You got
thinking
to
about
change one thing. You got to change one rule.
It's gonna the whole COVID thing is questionable. So I think 4 IR spots is way too much if there's no COVID protocol. So that's probably
Me
my
too.
number one. Two should be the standard. Three, I think it's nice to have three, but we're not gonna need four.
In my redraft junkyard league, I dropped it from 3 to 2. So
Yeah, I think it's good. I think at least going down one. So I think we'll see though. There's no COVID protocol anymore, so there's no like COVID policy. They're just not really gonna test. They'll probably test, but they're not gonna like. I don't know. We'll see. So that's probably what I would say. Nothing not exciting, but
Yeah, I mean, I think
maybe
that's
the
probably think of
possible taking
the league already.
away a defense. I don't know.
Getting rid of defense, that you said.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll say this: if we get rid of defense, I still would like defense to be involved. So I would like if we're getting rid of team defense, we should add DB, LB, DL. Just have those and just add more roster spots. But that's me. I want defense to still be a thing. Defense, special teams, it's still a big part of football.
All right, yeah. Just an idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Vinny probably wouldn't like the thought of getting rid of defensive players or defense in general, but I guess we'll see how the voting goes.
It's only about adding. That's why he doesn't want to get rid of anything. Just keep adding.
Add.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up.
League.
Wrap up part one from here. So we'll start part two momentarily. But thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you Matt for joining us.
Great job, Matt. A little more to come with him. Matty Daddy, baby.
You're back.
All right, thanks everyone.
All right.